And we started off this program back in 2020, working with Spark and Grow America. Since now, the program has actually grown into 4 markets. So we're so happy to introduce our next chapter into Baltimore. So if you don't know anything about Freddie Mac, let me just give you a little bit of background. What Freddie Mac does is we provide liquidity in the mortgage market. So a lot of, sometimes some people take a step back and say, how did Freddie Mac end up in the developer program? We decided to partner with Spark and Grow America because the reality is we can't provide liquidity on housing stock that doesn't exist. So our goal with the Developer program is really to empower people who live in the community that are interested in creating affordable housing stock. We want you to be able to start the next chapter in Baltimore. And that can mean building new single family housing. That can also mean revitalizing affordable housing. But one of the things I want you all to keep a mind on is we're also giving you the opportunity to start a chapter where you can walk into an almost $200 billion industry in America. So becoming a developer in your community, you are not just, starting a chapter where you can create the first house. This is something that we're really hoping that you can continue to develop and move this chapter on and on. You have the opportunity to create affordable housing so that families can now, be in their first home. They're going to watch their children take their first step. They're going to watch their children graduate from high school. And those are the things that we really want to be able to encourage for our community-focused developers. So I want to thank you all for coming today because you are going to be a vital key to helping us make home affordable in Baltimore. So with that said, I don't want to eat up any more time in our agenda today. You're going to hear from some of our developer graduates. You're going to hear from some of our fantastic partners like Spark and Grow America. And I can't wait to see all the great work that you all do in the future. Thanks so much for having us.
Excellent. Thank you, Cass. Thank you, Freddie Mac, so much. I want to bring up Courtney. Courtney is with Grow America, and he is really our go-to instructor, curriculum provider. And so please tell us, Courtney, what will our applicants expect when they attend the Academy?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Courtney Pogue. I'm with Grow America. I'm a senior director. Grow America is actually a national CFI, so community development finance institution. We are focused on training. We've trained roughly about 50,000 people over the past 55 years. We provide technical assistance about 100 cities around the country. We also are a lender to small businesses and real estate developers. And we do specialized financing in the sense of new market tax credits and local housing tax credits, along with energy tax credits. My background, I'm with very few CCIMs, so I'm a certified commercial investment member. I'm a counselor of real estate, and I'm a certified property manager, probably one of the only few people in the country that have that combination of designations. I've been an instructor for the International Economic Development Council. I've been an instructor for Project REAP. If you ever heard of that, recent apprenticeship program. I've been a mentor for the NARAB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, along with an instructor for CCIM. And now I am an instructor for Grow America, formerly known as the National Development Council. We have been training and providing the training for the developer program for the past few years. My background, I probably overseen probably about $5 billion of real estate development in Metro Atlanta, Nashville, Dallas, and Chicago, with a focus on public housing, affordable housing, and market rate housing. I've overseen the development of hotels, office buildings, warehouses, and along with schools and medical center. So when you get me as an instructor, you get a vast experience platform that I've overseen real estate projects throughout the country. As far as the actual program, we're going to talk about the goals of real estate development. We're going to talk about the overall development process, design and budgeting, which is very important to real estate development, financing, both construction and permanent financing for real estate development, project risks from pre-development, construction, and operational risk, along with the profit and loss statements and the cash flow analysis statement. And then we'll get to spreadsheets from the computer standpoint. We're also talking about the mortgage process and qualifying buyers. and various home buyer assistance programs that are very helpful for getting buyers into homes. So, as your instructor, I bring a wealth of knowledge from all levels, both from the public side and the private side. So I'm looking forward to be engaged with you in Baltimore.
Excellent. And Courtney, so based on all the great things that you mentioned that you'll cover, if you could summarize it for us, what are the top 2 or 3 things that our students, if you will walk away with after attending the academy?
Really what they walk away is really about feasibility of a project, understanding if a project is feasible. Also, they build connection. Real estate is a process not done by yourself. It's about a network. I will say in the programs that I've overseen as far as training people in Dallas, in Houston, in Atlanta, Nashville, they have built a network where they interact with one another. I've been able to facilitate deals with those individuals who have gone through the program. So it's about building connections across the country. So we have shared interests about real estate development process.
Excellent. And as we just noted in the chat, please drop any questions that you have. Everyone that's in front of you today is directly connected to this program, and Courtney, especially given the fact that he is our instructor. So any questions that you have, please ask Courtney. And as he mentioned, really, you'll walk away with the fundamentals. We have panelists that are representing all elements of development, government, from the city of Baltimore, because as you know, and as we've mentioned, this academy is really focused to help people to scale their development projects in Baltimore specifically. But if you are concentrating in other areas, that's you could still take the fundamentals from this course. But needless to say, we'll have panelists from Baltimore city government, other very seasoned developers coming. And I won't say most importantly, but very importantly, people who have direct access to capital that you can speak to really help to lock in and connect to financing and funding opportunities. So the topics that Courtney mentioned and the panelists that you will be in touch with and hear from and learn from will really give you insider information so you can really move your projects to a whole nother level. One thing that is mentioned is the permitting process and the difficulty surrounding that in Baltimore specifically. And so this academy will also connect you with some direct folks, again, from Baltimore city government that can help you to navigate difficult and quite frankly, expensive issues like that. So just a couple of pieces. We had a question come in. How long is the enrollment for the academy? So just a couple of pieces. And Courtney, if you can hang on for a second, and we may have some other questions for you as well. So the academy, the way it works, it's a 5-day course from November 7th to the 11th. When you check your calendar, do know it is falling over a weekend from Thursday to Monday, and it's on Veterans Day weekend. This was intentional so that we could give you all the time and space to really take this class, knowing that many folks may work a full-time job. And so at least it takes some burden off of the need to take off work. It also puts you in a place where you can really directly focus on the learnings from the academy. So it's a 5-day in-person course from November 7th to the 11th. All the topics that Courtney mentioned will be covered, and our application is open now. We're going to drop the link to the application and the webpage for you to learn more and apply. Our application is open now, and you could go to HomeFree-USA.org/DTDA. It's right there in the chat. And you can apply up until our application closes. We have some key dates right here. So our application closes on October the 1st, and you'll be notified by October 11th. And the academy is at the Cambria Hotel in Arundel Mills, November 7th to the 11th. Again, a Thursday to a Monday. And all the information to get more information and to apply is in the chat and on screen here. But you could go to HomeFree-USA.org/DTDA. And so Courtney, let me ask you, a similar question to what we've already talked about, but asking you in a little bit of a different way. What do developers lose if they don't take advantage of a course like this?
I've seen developers try to go out there by themselves without going through a proper training program. They can lose a lot of money, a lot of time, and get frustrated and walk away from being a real estate developer. So I encourage developers to go through a program like this to get proper training, understand the fundamentals of real estate development, understand the processes of real estate development, from financing to the actual construction process to the actual closeout of a project to the actual management of a project. So going through a program like this is very important for a real estate developer. I think I've seen over the past 20 years, and like I said, $5 billion development. I've seen some good projects. I've seen some bad projects. I've seen some outright ugly projects. So, but those who have been very successful in this industry have gone through some type of training program. As I stated before, I'm a certified commercial investment member of one of 15,000 CCIMs throughout the country. Only about 256 are African Americans. I'm a CRE, Council of Real Estate. So I provide advisory services throughout the country to major areas throughout the country. There's about 1,000 councils of real estate. There are only about 35 African Americans that hold that designation. So when you get me, you get a lot of experience. So when I tell you going through a program like this is very critical, very important to your success as a real estate developer, I mean it. Because I've seen what people have done without going through a program like this.
Excellent. And Courtney, yes, you have the experience and you have the liveliness as we see as an instructor. So tell us what to expect, not only in terms of the topics, as you've mentioned. Is this an interactive course? Are we going to be, is it a lecture based? Kind of how is your presentation style?
Well, a combination of both. I think it's interactive and lecture based. So I think from that standpoint, it's not just me talking as a talking head for 5 days. That would get very boring for both me and you. So when we teach, it is interactive. We provide case studies, we provide the lecture component. On the back end, provide the panels that reinforce the types of topics we discussed that day. So it is not just someone sitting in front of you for 5 days providing lecture or reading PowerPoint slides. That is not very productive for both me nor you. So we make sure it's very interactive.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And one thing I just want to highlight that Courtney said, he's not only covering again the fundamentals. Our panelists are there, and between his instruction and what our panelists will share, will also give you insight on financing and so many other things you need to know. But Courtney mentioned another thing that's so important, which is the guidance and the mentorship, and that really is needed to move your projects to the next level. I read a really startling statistic: only about 1% of Black, Latino, or women are in the real estate development field, and that is an extremely low amount. But so often it is hard to get in and into this field, although very lucrative, as Cass mentioned. It can be very hard to get into this field and to succeed in it because naturally, like Courtney said, there's a lot of money on the table, and so often we get in because we have a passion and we have a want. But without the fundamentals and the financing, as Courtney said again, the projects can take a lot of shapes that may not come out to be as successful as you hope. So we're going to work together and we're going to move you forward and make sure that you are well on your way to exceed success in your respective areas and to really move whatever geography that you're working in for, but especially Baltimore. And so Courtney, just last question here. Why is now a great time? There's so much going on in the real estate market with the price of construction and interest rates, and home buyers have slowed down. So why is now a good time to really get into this development academy space?
Real estate is about opportunity. Now is a good time because of the market. As Sam Zell, I'm currently in Chicago right now, would say, in a down market, take advantage of opportunities. And right now is the time to take advantage of opportunities, both nationally and within Baltimore. So as a real estate developer, as you pointed out, there are very few African Americans in this space. Less than 1% of the real estate developers in the country are African Americans. I think a program like this helps encourage people to get into the game, because real estate is a game. But as with any game, with football or basketball or baseball, you must learn the rules. So you need training, you must practice, but also make sure you're building a network, but also understand the ways of forming capital. So going through a program like this is very important, very critical, but also building a network. You can't do this by yourself. You have to build a team. As stated before, in academies that have overseen over the past couple of years, we have made sure we have connected people across the country so they are learning from one another. So someone has gone to academy in Atlanta, they have connected with people in Houston. Someone in Houston is connected to somebody in Milwaukee. So it's a collaborative effort, not done in a silo. You can't be a real estate developer, a successful one, doing work in a silo. So your network is interactive, it's connected. So take advantage of this program, take advantage of the training, take advantage of building a network.
Excellent, thank you. And we had another question come in the chat. Is the program, do you have to attend all days? Yes, we encourage, recommend, and require you to attend all 5 days of the academy, because that's really the only way you're going to be able to get the full learning from it. Do know too that we also stay with you and provide mentorship and guidance after the academy ends. And so that word connectedness that Courtney has mentioned, being connected to a network, is important. And so your 5-day commitment is critical and required in order for you to really leave this academy really prepared to take the lessons and the learning to the next level. And again, this is going to be Thursday, November 7th to Monday, November 11th. Monday, November 11th is a holiday, Veterans Day, which may or may not affect you if you have that day off. And then Sunday, we're going to keep that coursework light in respect of, everyone's focus on the normal Sunday morning activities that you do. But again, we're here to work with you. So please put your questions in the chat. And then if you'd like to, we can also follow up with you later. Thank you so much, Courtney. I'd like to introduce Angela, and Angela has really been our guide through the Develop the Developer Academy construction, if you will. And Angela has led this academy in her own hometown or in her own neighborhood, if you will. And so she could talk a bit more about her experiences and bring up some past academy participants so they can just talk from their perspective. Please continue to drop your questions in the chat, and we look forward to answering them. Angela, take it away.
Thanks, Milan. As Milan said, my name is Angela Smith, and I'm coming to you from Omaha, Nebraska. I had the privilege of helping to launch this program here in our Omaha market in 2020 during a pandemic. And we have had 5 successful cohorts go through since that time, and about 85 graduates who we continue to work with to help support their projects in real estate development. I'm not actually going to speak very long. I do want to cover just some basic information, some very quick key points that some have already been highlighted by some, but I want to make sure we go through the basics. And then I want to spend the rest of the time letting you hear from folks who've actually been through the course in a few different markets. We have representatives here with us from Omaha classes, from the Milwaukee cohort, and then also from Tulsa. So real quickly, I'm going to share a slide with you. As has previously been said, this is Develop the Developer Baltimore, sponsored by HomeFree-USA. As Milan said, it is going to be a 5-day in-person course. You are required to attend all 5 days. It runs 9 to 4 every day, Thursday, November 7th through Monday, November 11th. We are looking at an option for a half day on Sunday, as Milan hinted at. There's also an additional requirement that hasn't been brought up yet, and that is the capstone project. So instead of taking this class and then taking a test to show that you have learned something, what you and your peers in the class will be working toward is a capstone pitch, where after class is over, you will continue to work in a small group to develop a 5 to 10 minute presentation of a real project or a make-believe project to a panel of folks who can give you feedback. We feel it's really important for you to be able to synthesize the knowledge and put to use the relationships you've made in class to have a real life example and to get feedback on that example. So that capstone pitch is going to happen a few weeks after the course ends, so you have time to work on it. And we have it scheduled for Thursday, November 21st. As this is an in-person class, the location of the course has been established at the Cambria Hotel, a little outside of Baltimore. This class is targeted for folks who are interested in developing in Baltimore and the surrounding areas. And as we have also mentioned, this is a competitive process. This is a really cool class and it's at a really great price. And so we have to limit the number of folks who can go through it so that we have the adequate resources to give to them during the class and adequate resources to give to them after the class is over. Because going through the class is just the first process. That's where you make the relationships and where you get some of the knowledge. But as you may know, real estate is a really long process. Real estate development takes a long time. And so you're going to be working with your peers and the folks that you meet in class as you actually bring your projects to life. So this is a competitive application only process. They've dropped the application in the chat. You can find it on the HomeFree-USA website. If you have any questions about the application process, feel free to contact the partners at HomeFree-USA and they can help you through it. Applications are open right now and they close October 1st. Then we'll be meeting to review all of those applications and you'll be notified by October 14th whether you are in the class or not. The cost for the class, as I said, is a really great price. It's $299. There are limited scholarships that will be available. It will not be a full scholarship, but it would be a partial scholarship. And your need for a scholarship does not in any way impact the review of your application for the course. So we just ask in the application that you let us know of your need if you have one. And then after selection has been made, we're looking to have a class size between 15 and 20 individuals to take this class. After those individuals have been selected, we'll work through who needs scholarships and what funding we have available to support that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and see if there's any questions that I can address before I introduce some of our amazing graduates. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call up our graduates. It's really cool of them to take the time to join us today. And I know many of them are multitasking. So if I call on you and you're not able to, no worries, we will move on to the next individual. But first I want to bring up Donnell. Donnell Brown is a graduate from the Omaha market. And each graduate is just going to tell you a little bit about themselves, a very quick 2 or 3 minute overview of who they are, why they took the academy, and why they think you should. Donnell?
Okay, can you guys hear me? So yeah, like Angela was saying, I'm Donnell Brown. I was part of the first cohort with Spark for Develop the Developer with Freddie Mac here in 2020. So my experience is a little interesting dealing with the pandemic and COVID, the uncertainty of the real estate market then, kind of seen this program and thought, what a time to look more into development, as I had some experience with rehabs and rentals prior to this program. So yeah, did the academy, loved it. I've since probably done it 1 or 2 times again since then, because the information is never ending and always very helpful. Many of the connections I use now in my current project I'm developing, came from Spark. So, long-term assistance help, learn so much. Couldn't have done it without them, all the cliche statements you want to say there. But truly, I mean, this is, if you really are interested and had any thoughts about development, you're in the right spot. The guidance you'll get will be second to none, in my opinion, just going through this industry and this market. So glad to have you guys here and hopefully we can get all your questions answered.
Can you do a little bragging? What are you working on right now?
Sure. So my specialty where I focused at is single family homes using infill lots. So I target, mainly what we consider our lower income area, quality census tract here in North Omaha. A lot of, infill lots from homes that were demolished in the past, 40-foot lots. I know Baltimore's kind of similar with their lot sizes and the traditional how homes are built there. So coming up on the ending stages of that, at drywall, um, starting to market the homes, had a wonderful experience with the media and with the neighborhood. So if you build it, they will come. It's been a great response. I love it. So yeah, I've done 4 of my first project, and hopefully we grow bigger and bigger and do more our next project here. So my path is a little unique as I work full time. So I kind of do this in my call it spare time, air quotes here. So I'm all about the team and who I work with, having the proper individuals in place to help me along the way. So yeah, that's my story.
Thanks, Donnell. I hope you can stick around and help answer more questions as they
Mhm.
come up in the chat. Angel, can you join us?
Hello.
All right, go ahead, introduce yourself and tell about your experience in the Developer Academy.
Most definitely. My name is Angel Starks, and I too am a graduate of the 2020 Omaha Market Developer Academy. And at the time of the applications for the Omaha Academy, I actually have been in real estate for almost 10 years as a residential and commercial sales agent. And I was sent an email that said, Angel, this might be of interest. And by that time, I was introduced to commercial real estate. I kind of was starting to get my feet wet in understanding like the dynamics of the sales and leasing side. But what the Academy actually provided for me was much more understanding of how communities and developments were made. And it was just a dynamic math class of financing. So it was a lot because it was just a different side of the industry that I was not accustomed to, but it allowed me to understand the entire protocol from when someone is attempting to get entitlement or regulations and zoning and knowing what will fit, what is a viable project versus me seeing this house that is now here and just finding a homeowner or a tenant to be able to occupy the space. So being able to see development from very beginning to end, I think that has been the most valuable. And then also I'm an educator at heart and through profession. And so going through the academy allowed for me to know how to break down things so other people can also have that conversation. Like what has been said, there's a lack of Black and Brown representation and women in the field. And many of the people that I speak to are still very much a lot of men actually, but being able to have the conversation and to know and to be teaching and all of those factors has just put me in a position that allows for me to know and to gain so much more. Development is never ending. It's always changing, regulations, and to stay abreast of all of that and to be a part of a network of individuals that are very specialized. I think that is a great compliment to the Developer Academy.
Thanks, Angel. I do have a question for you. If you, what's one thing that you wish that you had known about the Developer Academy before going into the Developer Academy?
Ooh, great question. So like Donnell, I think I've taken the class like 3 times. And then I also had the advantage of being able to work with Spark to oversee the program. So I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes. But if I was a fresh person coming in, vocab. There are so many different words. There is a shared language within the development ecosystem that unless you are there, it means very little to you. But now infill development and the many pros and cons of such, right? Or CDFI, or understanding all of those pieces and how they go together. I think the vocabulary and the terminology so that you can sit at a table and actually be a part of the discussion and not necessarily just sit and listen, being able to navigate conversations has been monumental. And so I think just knowing some of the words beforehand and maybe some of the math formulas, that would have been perfect. But it's all a learning curve, and it's okay because everybody's kind of doughy-eyed, and that's okay. I think that's what creates the community within itself, because everybody's attempting to learn alongside each other, and then you might be sitting amongst some of your future partners. So
Thank you, Angel.
thank you.
All right, we're going to see if Charles is available. Charles from Milwaukee, are you able to join in?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Charles McCoy, and I was a part of the Developer Academy last November. Awesome class, awesome. I just learned so much from it. What brought me to the program was I am a investor. We have a portfolio of single family and duplex homes here, and we were looking to get into development. And what got me interested in the program was we started purchasing commercial mixed use property. And right now we actually are working on a mixed use property as we speak. So a lot of the things that I learned from the program is helping me develop this mixed use property right now. And our next phase will be ground up development.
Excellent. What do you think was the greatest takeaway from the class for you?
One of them is I met a contractor in the class that I'm actually working with on our mixed use project. That's one of the awesome takeaways. And just understanding, like Angie mentioned, the terminology, understanding the terminology of development and how you communicate with others in this process on building a team. And I think one of the biggest things is, we're kind of used to building on our own. Now we're working with other institutions to make these dreams that we're doing come true.
That's excellent. I always talk about how the outcomes of the Developer Academy are both that increase in knowledge, like you learn a lot of language, of tools, of spreadsheets, of math. The performas will kind of blow your mind when you're sitting in class, but the relationship piece, the local connections that you make, not only from like the panelists, like I don't know if that's where you met your general contractor, or the partners that you have in class. So I'm really excited to hear that was one of your greatest takeaways was the relationship. Is there anything else that you want to share with someone who's on the fence about applying?
I think this is a great opportunity. I like what Darnell is doing over there in Baltimore. One of the things that Angie mentioned is I will be taking a class again. I mean, because now when you kind of got your hands on projects, now you can go back to basically like I would use the class again as my homework. So now I'm able to walk through the process that I'm doing as I'm sitting in class and putting all the pieces together in real time to use it more efficiently.
Well, thank you, Charles. Thanks for sharing your experience. I hope you can stay on the call and help us answer questions as they come in. And good luck to you in Milwaukee.
Thank you.
Franchelle, let's see if you are able. And while you're getting connected, I did want to say that several of our graduates have mentioned that they've taken the class multiple times. That's something that our market has decided is necessary. The amount of information that comes in to your brain during that week is really overload. So we allow our participants, like I said, once they're in the door from class, we allow them to come back and drop in for ongoing education and also additional cohorts where they might need a refresher on this one piece, or they might need to attend a panel so that they can make a connection that's needed in their development process. All right, Franchelle, you are up. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and telling us who you are and how your experience is in Tulsa.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. This is Franchelle Abdallah, and I apologize. I'm driving. I live in the car, but headed to Nebraska actually to take our daughter to college. So, wanted to say again, good morning and thank you. I am a real estate developer in Tulsa, Oklahoma, originally from Omaha, Nebraska. And so I was a part of that first cohort in 2020 during the pandemic. And as Angela said, the class I think was really immeasurable. For me, it was really about the exposure to performance and project modeling and financing. I had come from a development background where I worked for a housing authority, had done some development. Really gave me the confidence to be able to launch into development myself. And so 6 years ago, we transitioned to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I run a real estate development firm here. We're doing small scale incremental residential development. We really focus on housing that is mid-income, and then we're starting into some small scale commercial as well. So good luck to all of you.
Is there any advice you want to give to folks who are thinking about applying?
Absolutely do it. Bet on yourself. I think it was the best investment I ever made. It was the best use of my time, best use of financial resources, and it really gave me, again, the confidence. So shout out to Angela and Grow Hub. We were able to start the Developer Academy in Tulsa through Angela's and Cass's support.
Yes. Thanks, Franchelle, and safe driving and safe travels to you.
Yeah, so my name is Kyle Keith. I was a part of the 2020 cohort, like many of the people on this call. I got into it because my prior experiences with nonprofits and politics, really. Namely, the nonprofit that I was working with, it was a neighborhood-based nonprofit. And what I learned was that, you know, how impactful the spaces that are in these communities have an impact on the community's growth itself and the identity of it. The neighborhood that I come from is North Omaha, and like Donnell said, it's a lot of, you know, empty lots and a lot of opportunity. And I wanted to be a part of that process of building what could be in the future for, you know, people come after me. So I got a part of the Developer Academy. Actually got me into my first project through the city of Omaha, which the Developer Academy, you know, pointed out for us, which was a great help. We wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for them to be able to identify that kind of stuff with it. Yeah, I mean, the Developer Academy kind of took what I thought in concept, because I was trying to do some research on my own and all that kind of stuff, into reality. What it really took from, you know, the pro formas to dealing with contractors, to dealing with the city and all that kind of stuff, and how the process actually works. So it was a greatly valuable experience. I loved it.
Thanks, Kyle. It kind of answers one of the questions that just came in through the chat was, what are the kinds of people that are new to your network that you wouldn't have gotten access to if you hadn't taken the class? I don't know if you can remember who were in those panels, but are there any folks that stick out, or any like entity types that stick out that you met in class that you wouldn't have had access to otherwise?
Yeah, for sure. Donnell, Angel, those are two
So
people.
your peers, right? Like, one, you're meeting people who are doing the same thing as you.
The city of Omaha, absolutely, you know, having a better idea of the planning department, all the people, the zoning department, the people that make the decisions on what can and what cannot go into these projects that you guys are trying out, and then definitely the financial aspect of it, and how big of a part that plays into what kind of projects you can do.
Right.
If you're trying to do, like, you know, affordable housing and things like that, there's a lot of, you know, stipulations that go into that, and having those financial experts kind of help you with those plans is a valuable resource.
Thanks, Kyle. I like to say that we try and bring folks to those panels and to the table who will answer your phone call, right? And won't charge you money immediately upon answering that phone call. So whether that's a banker, a real estate attorney, somebody at the city, having those face-to-face connections in class can be really invaluable to moving your project forward. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you, Kyle. All right, and last but not least, I think Stephen is on the call. Stephen, can you jump on screen and share your experience? You're from Milwaukee.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry I can't jump on screen. I got a bad eye infection, so I'll save everybody that visual. And
Sure, no problem.
I'm all messed up over here. But good morning. My name is Stephen DeVogus. I was a part of the cohort with Mr. Charles McCoy. We were also in the same group. We were in the cohort of last November in Milwaukee. And I wanted to be involved with the program because I was previously in the ACRE program, and I wanted to extend my knowledge and my learning in regards to development. And the program did just that. I found that the facilitators were top tier. I was sitting next to Courtney and pepper him with questions for a week straight and asking what books he was reading and what certifications and things of that nature. The panels were really strong as well. There were people that I was familiar with, but then there were people that I wasn't familiar with as well. I really like the hands-on aspect of it because you really had to underwrite, learn how to underwrite and use the tables and use the charts. So it wasn't at a high level, but we really got down to the bare brass knuckles of things and really was working out saying, okay, is this feasible? Does this work? What does it have to look like? This is the constraints. This is how much, our client can afford basically, and how much house they can afford and, kind of building your project based on that. So I think that was very instructive as well. So I would encourage everyone to apply to the program, especially if they want to really get a hands-on experience about how to make a deal work and, making the numbers work as well.
Is there anything that you wish you would have known going into the class that you can share with participants?
You just gotta have a project in mind. That helps because at the end you have to do your presentation. So you want to kind of have, gear everything towards getting that prepared. So, me, I kind of had a loose idea, and I know me and Charles worked it out. Not that we had a very good presentation, but it was just kind of something we were noodling around at first, but it wasn't concrete. But it ended up coming together. So,
That's great advice. Thanks for jumping on the call, Stephen. I hope you feel better soon.
oh, thank you.
I am looking through the chat here before I kick it back to Milan. I just want to make sure there aren't any other questions we haven't answered. There's one that came in about financing. Will folks have access to special loans with lower interest rates? That varies market to market. Part of what the class hopes to do is to connect you to local community banks, but also to those subsidies that are going to be required if the products that you're building are affordable. So whether that's connections to the trust fund or other local entities that are subsidizing the cost of construction, those are the people that will be in the panels. But I don't think that there is a special pool of money set aside just yet. That's something that every market builds to. We finally built one in the Omaha market where we prioritize Developer Academy graduates to build those kind of single family infill developments. But it's something that hopefully will be built over time in the Baltimore market, or we'll be tapping into those existing pools of subsidies so that you feel that you have a competitive edge to be awarded those kinds of funds. And then the last question that was on there was a network of rehabbers. I think we do have a construction panel, so not exactly rehabbers, but definitely folks who are in the construction industry, folks that you can partner with on your next project to be your GC, and really focusing in on those local connections for small BIPOC builders and general contractors are the folks that we're going to be bringing to the table in Baltimore. There's one more question, Milan. I'm going to go ahead and address it if you don't mind. The ideal level of development experience for a candidate. So yeah, this is great. Your application is going to be scored on 3 different things. One is your experience level. So we want you to have some level of experience. This class is not for professional billionaire real estate developers, but it's also not for people who are just dreaming, right? We need people who have some sort of experience in real estate. And we give you kind of a wide place to play in what you define as real estate. So whether that's in being a realtor, being a general contractor, being an investor, owning some rental properties. Ideally, we're looking for folks with about 5 years of experience. Some folks enter with a little bit less, some folks enter with a little bit more. The second thing that you'll be ranked on is your track record. So we want someone we prefer to have somebody who's tried and failed than not tried at all. So we want to see that you have attempted to do some work in this space. And then the last priority is readiness. How close are you to building? We want folks in this class who are coming in with a project idea or maybe even coming in with land that they own. So those are the 3 areas that we'll be ranking when we look at your application. We do look at all of the applications anonymously. So we remove any identifying information, and we score applications based on those 3 criteria. And then after that, we look at the applications holistically once we have that score, and then prioritize who's going to be in the first cohort. I'm going to burst your bubble. There are going to be people on this call who don't get into the class, and that's okay, because HomeFree-USA is building out their programming so that they can support ongoing education that will be open to everyone throughout the year. And then hopefully they'll be back to do a second round of this class in 2025.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Any other questions, please drop them in the chat. Angela, Courtney, Cass, all of the past Develop the Developer Academy participants who joined us today, thank you so much. Everyone who joined today's call to learn more about the Academy, thank you so much. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We're closing up, but we do appreciate you all joining. So just a couple of reminders as we round out this call. Remember to apply. We have for the Develop the Developer Academy, how to apply. Just go to HomeFree-USA.org/DTDA. The link is in the chat. Just copy, paste in your browser, go to the page, read more, and apply. To apply is free. And again, we are going to, as folks apply, we will monitor the applications, screen the applications. All applications must be received by October 1st. Everyone who is on today's call, we will make sure that we add you to our email database so you can get information about Develop the Developer Academy. You will be notified about your application around October 11th. If you have any questions, you can email us at eventsupport@homefreeusa.org. Again, the Academy is November 7th to the 11th. That's a Thursday to Monday. So it's not too much of a hit to work at the Cambria Hotel in Arundel Mills. And we just look forward to everyone applying and moving forward with this great opportunity. There will also be a capstone that will be, I think, around November 21st, but we'll confirm that with you. And that is the time where you take all your learning from the 5-day academy and you present it out. And again, there will be some great connections that you'll be able to make in the room, that you'll be able to take with you from the 5-day academy to really help to strengthen your development opportunities. So we really appreciate you joining. Please do so sooner than later. Apply. Refer someone else. And we are focused on single family residential development in Baltimore. So do know that this session is not related to commercial development or even rental development. We are really focused on single family homes in Baltimore, which will create community change as well as, helping you move forward as a developer. So we're so appreciative for your application, for you joining us today. Have an amazing day. And the class size, we want to keep it really around 15 to keep it the class size small and intimate. So there was a question that came in about the class size being 20 students. Our goal is to keep it around 15 to 16 to keep the session intimate and to make sure that everybody has the one-on-one support that's really needed from our instructors and our panelists and mentors. So you really truly have that network support. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk soon. I look forward to seeing your application. Email us at eventsupport@homefreeusa.org if you have any questions. All the best. Have a great day. Bye-bye.